always played a hugely important part in the lives of their children and grandchildren. And without them, none of us would be gathered here today. Mark's grandmother Joan would have loved to have been here today, but after falling a few weeks ago, we send her our very good wishes and hope that she's recovering. And I'm sure she is here with us in spirit and will be bombarded with loads of photos very shortly. And I know it means a lot to Nicola that her two grandmas, Jo and Marjorie, those three grandmas are very much loved and a huge inspiration to all of us. And the other part of this little story began 34 years ago today on the maternity ward of Bradford Royal Infirmary. It was a Saturday. About 6:30 a.m. the midwife announced, "I think you've got a rugby player in there." Not what I really needed to hear. And she also said, "Well, the baby certainly won't be born before lunchtime." Well, I'm glad to say she was wrong on both accounts, because typically, as we now know, Nicola arrived 10 days late and in a hurry at 8:10 a.m. I have to admit she's probably inherited her timekeeping skills from her mother. On a more positive note, take that whichever way you like. On a more positive note, I like to think she also inherited my rock climbing skills. When as a young teenager, she would ascend her top bunk bed using a variety of techniques and then launch herself off for the descent, landing with a crash, which resulted in several cracks in the kitchen ceiling downstairs. This routine earned her a nickname from my good friend Steve, who called her the Bigfoot. Guess that looking at her today, but anyway. Several years later, he also said, more flatteringly, that if he'd ever had a daughter, he would have liked her to turn out like Nicola. I was lucky. I did have a lovely daughter, whom I'm very proud, and her name is Nicola. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now ask you to stand and raise your glasses to Nicola and the three grandmas.
Nicola.